I have to go turn down my mom's. Hello, I think we're on. Yep, we're on. Right, we're live. Now, if you guys hear some music in the background or some stuff, that's my mom in the other room listening to Murder She Wrote. Just a little bit of that. She's got to have some sound. And the lady's stuck in a bed. There's no other way around that. So let's get into it. We have who we got on the panel tonight. It's, actually, I got that started actually pretty with no snafus. Amazing that. Wonderful. We got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven great artists. So maybe a couple others might pop in, but right now we're not quite a full boat. We've got quite a few people here. Let's talk about the topic real quick. This is in tribute and honor of Frank Frazetta. Now, Frank Frazetta died about 10 years ago. In 3 days, on the 10th of May, will be his death date. And for me, I don't know how many other people know or were influenced by Frank Frazetta's art, but I certainly was. His art not only inspired me to write and come up with interesting things as a kid, but it inspired me to read and to grab on to books that entertained me. There were other artists that did so in the same vein as well, but Frazetta one he kind of sticks out in my head. Um, just about more than anybody else. Maybe Boris was kind of a contemporary at the time who did quite a few things. However, um, tonight what we have is in that vein of a tribute is that the artists are going to draw one of Frazetta's ladies in their style, of course, but trying to keep with the Frazetta aesthetic of kind of a thick, curvy woman. And then there's a little twist. They're gonna have to add one of Frazetta's male characters, kind of as a chibi or a little cartoony element in the picture. It doesn't have to be real big, but it has to be recognizable. And there are plenty of things to choose from in his vast array of work that he did. For those of us who love Frazetta, and I never got to go out to his Pennsylvania museum. I wanted to, but it's kind of like I couldn't ever get to it in time for him to still be alive. And occasionally you could meet him there when he was alive. Now they've moved down to Florida. His daughters and granddaughters, Frazetta girls, have put together a company to celebrate his work and to keep the Frazetta name out there, and put out merchandise, which I fully would think they should do that. Beautiful works that he's done. He's one of the great masters of the 20th century, and I put him right up there with people like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt and Rockwell. He's in that same kind of category in my head canon of great artists, great Western artists. He influenced many people, the whole generations of artists. And, who we getting him in there? Well, that was a lot of noise.
Sorry.
That's all right.
That's right.
We got eight people on the panel now. I will go through their names here in a minute. I don't mind if they start sketching right now, because this is going to be one that you're trying to approximate, or give homage to the great man, and yeah. So, like I said, I when they mentioned this Frazetta and this idea, and maybe we do specifically cave girls, I thought, no, that's too limiting for, and so I wanted people to just go pick what they wanted from Frazetta's. The word is oeuvre, or his body of work, and yeah, and then we can kind of talk about him as we go along, and I don't know how many of you have been influenced by Frazetta, but anybody at all?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's why I brought him
A
up the
lot of
other day.
That's
a lot of his
why
Conan.
What'd you say, Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. So let's go down the list here. Right now, we currently have 8 people on the panel, and that's awesome. Not quite a full boat, but we're doing all right. Let's go with Armoron. Armoron is from Australia. He's one of the 2 Australians that comes pretty regularly, and it's nice to have you here. Looks like he's already started in it. Very Armron does like the voluptuous woman, which is very reminiscent of our friend Frazetta. And fantastic. He's quiet right now, so we'll just leave him be. And let's go over to Eric Hodson. He's got a polar bear and a snowstorm right now. So
Yeah.
I'm sure something
Just
will appear on page here in a minute.
just getting ready to start here.
So Eric Hodson is famous for Devil Dinosaur and for his forthcoming Rowdy Piper book. So look for those things. Fantastic. I don't know if we have anybody in the chat just yet. So let me check. One moment while we go to the chat. We haven't had Flit Amaranth show up just yet, but Bruce Patnow is out there, and he said he's going to draw along, which is nice. Um, he says Cheesecake, Frazetta, the best, and he's right. Yes, Frazetta is my biggest inspiration, and for a lot of artists that is the case. Moving down, we got Humble Marty, and I don't know if Humble Marty was influenced by Frazetta, but
Me?
is this new?
I remember seeing some of his work when on YouTube clips of Fire and Ice.
Mm, okay. Yeah. Well,
Fire
This
Knife.
is
Fire and Ice
actually
is a
my first.
The Ralph Bakshi movie.
yeah,
That's
the
like,
Ralph Bakshi, and then
yeah.
they did a documentary called Painting with Fire, which is all about Frazetta. And if you haven't had a chance to go get that, I would do it. I'd get Painting with Fire because it tells about him and it shows a lot of like his just genius that he had, and also
That was a really cool documentary.
they did three big books. I mean, there's a bunch of books out there with his work in it, but it was like Icon, Legacy, and Testament. And those three books are on my shelf. They're a place of honor. And I've got some other Frazetta stuff with those three, and they're all out of print, which is I think is ridiculous. That they should have never gone out of print. But people love Frazetta. But yeah, moving on down. Illustrator Monk is here. Illustrator Monk, have you been influenced by Frazetta? Maybe
Monk.
not. Yeah, he's
Of course.
oh, of course. I think everybody who's ever gotten into comics and gotten into fantasy science fiction art has taken a stroke or two from Frazetta. We got Red Robot here tonight.
How's it going?
It's good.
Hello.
I'm sure that you love Frazetta as well, just like
Oh yeah, I mean, my dad has a collection of his art books. My dad was really big into the heavy metal stuff in the '70s and early '80s, and I've been influenced by the people that Frank Frazetta has influenced, like Frank Cho and stuff, and the guy that draws Cave Woman, Bud Root.
Yeah, Bud. Bud's cool.
yeah. Budroot is one of my favorite, just for the very fact he just doesn't care. He just does a beautiful buxom lass, and you know he's not. I don't know if he's for this age, but he's definitely for any age that I've ever been in. So
Yeah, my brothers met him at a convention, and I have a signed deck of sketch cards from him.
oh nice. I'm gonna put this out here. Say we're live. Hopefully, some people do that. If you guys want to throw that out there too, I don't know if you have a chance. But anybody who's listening, please put out the link that we're live, and hopefully, some people will show up and bandy about in chat. Yeah. So, and then I'm gonna put this out in here. It's hard for me to do this to multitask. For those of you who don't know, a nickname for Frank Frazetta is Fritz, which is odd because he's Italian, but that's kind of a German name. But everybody who knew him kind of called him Fritz for short. So there you go, a little bit of stuff for your head canon. I'm sorry. I gotta keep making noise, otherwise we get dead air. Okay. Yep.
So how's your week been?
My week? It's
Yeah.
been there. It's been there. It wasn't too bad, so I'm alright. Oh, Illustrator Monk put something up. Oh, nice. Nice, Illustrator Monk. That's a nice little sketch you did. people can hear the neighbors next door talking and futzing around outside. Oh, it's all right. All right, let's. Okay, I just set that out, and oh yeah, nice. Frazetta was known for his women, obviously, and his very visceral and testosterone um, infused men, and also he loved to do cats. A lot of things. A lot of his paintings had cats in them. Not to say he couldn't do anything else. I remember hearing Ralph Bakshi talk about one time they needed a rabbit for something. This is one of those. I tried to find the source for this story, but I remember it in my head. Is that he said, well, can you get a rabbit drawn? And he goes, sure. And he goes like 15 minutes and he draws this, just penciled rabbit that's in motion and jumping and looking behind itself as if it's being chased. And it's fluid and all this other stuff. And just a second, I'm going to close my window because people are making noise outside. There we go. And when he comes back to Bakshi looks at it just in, he's a god. He can't believe it. Because, and he says that I could spend all my time studying the anatomy of a rabbit, and I could never draw a rabbit as good as what Frank just pulled out of his head. And that, that's one of those things that there's a story about Frank when he was 8 years old. And I'm going to bring up this. Let's see if I can find this reference. Basically, Frank was a prodigy. I mean, one of those things that people talk about a child prodigy. At 8 years old, he went to the Brooklyn Academy of Fine Arts. He got noticed and got him in there. This guy named Michael Falenga, who was another Italian artist, award-winning guy there in New York, in Brooklyn. He'd seen many kids brought in. This kid's awesome. It's going to be great. And so he put him through his paces and said, give him tests, basically a test, and say, draw this. So he goes away for a little bit, comes back, and he looks down at the page, and nobody ever tells exactly what Frank drew, but apparently Falanga was just like, this kid's amazing, and we're talking at 8. And like his exclamation was, "Mamma mia, we have a genius here." And and he went on to do that. And one of the other things that people don't know about, well, may not know, who haven't studied the man, that he really was a man's man. If you ever see pictures of him, this guy was.
No, he was Marlboro Man.
Yeah, he was marble. He was built, cut, ripped, and he often could easily used himself as a model. Just a really handsome fella, a ladies' man extraordinaire, and very chiseled, and broad-shouldered, tapered waist, that type of guy. And even so much that he played baseball well enough that the New York Giants of the time scouted him, and he was playing in the minors, but he decided he didn't want to. He got injured, and he decided he didn't want to play that game forever and just stuck with his art. Lucky for us, but quite amazing. And here's another crazy thing: when he got a stroke around 70-ish, and it affected his his right hand, which was his painting hand, and he had enough time, so he died. I believe he was 85. I think he was 85. But in that time, he retrained himself with his left hand and was painting pretty damn well with his left hand, which for anybody who's an artist knows what an achievement that was. The other thing was that he knew his basic capabilities from a young age, and he worked with a lot of famous people. He did comics with Little Abner for quite a while. Did a whole run, which is in my opinion my favorite version of Little Abner, because Daisy May was quite attractive under the hand of Frazetta. But at some point he realized that sequential art wasn't what he wanted to do, and he started to go into fine art, which is basically when he started painting And this is a guy who not only was good in with oil or in watercolor and acrylic, basically anything he put his hand to, artistically, he was pretty good. There's even some talk that like he'd put his hand a little bit into sculpture, but he found it took too much time and the process of doing stuff. But like the clay wasn't really hard for him to work with. He just didn't want to do all the other things for smelting and forge and all that. And so he just went back to painting. But he also had a passion for photography. One of the sad tragedies of his life, late in his life, this big old the storage shack that was basically his studio also, which was filled with all kinds of photography stuff and a lot of his sketches and things. It caught fire, and all that stuff got burned down. But most of the sketches and pieces of art they kind of saved, but they couldn't get all of his camera. And we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars of cameras that he had collected, and it was always something that kind of hurt his heart. Uh, at least that's what I hear. Now there's a lot of people who have done some research and some biographical stuff on Frank. So if you want to go out there and look for it, do so. But what I would say is go out there and collect his art, because it's still something. I mean, the Frazetta girls have a whole bunch of different pieces that they actually have made into really nice, like wall canvases and prints that you can put up, and their quality, from just basically a poster to something like a wrapped box, and those are the things I love. I've been saving my panties because it's a little expensive. I want the Golden Girl, which is my favorite Frazetta girl, it's a nude, but it's also one of the inspirations for Sugar Light Speed. So it's one of those ones I want to pick up when I have a little bit extra cash. Anybody have a favorite that you're doing tonight? Down the line, y'all.
I'm doing the Moon Maiden.
Oh, Moon Maid, nice, nice. Let's go. I've been white boxed. Oh, I didn't finish with Phil. I need to go down. I've been white boxed. Red Robot forever.
I don't think you finished introducing all of us.
I didn't. So Phil Connect. Yeah, I went on.
The one and only.
Yes, Phil Connect, the one and only. Who are you doing?
I'm doing the Egyptian girl.
Yeah, nice. And like I said, it doesn't have to be his composition. It just has to be your version of that. I mean, to make it your own. Very nice. And going down, we got Danny Vegas as we call him, from the Tech Corner. Who are you doing?
A Princess of Mars by Frank Frazetta.
Nice.
Deja.
Very much Deja Thoris, or any number of other princesses.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a Barsoomian princess. Nice. And down at the very end, Zach Bradley of Golma fame. I think you're done with your campaign, or at least have you put it in demand? Zach. Apparently, I'm not sure who he's doing, but he's got to start.
Hello.
Okay, Zach, did you finish up Golma?
Yeah, Golma's done.
Is it in demand?
I think it went into demand.
Did you put it in demand?
I think I did when I first set it up. I'm not sure.
Okay, fine.
I need to go check.
You should
I haven't
check.
really.
Because if it hasn't been put in demand, you might not be able to put it in demand. That's a weird thing that Indiegogo does. Oh, it's kind of stupid, but yeah. If you can't get it anymore, it's too bad for you, because it was freaking awesome, and he did get fully funded, which is very nice. But he could always use a few more dollars if he can still have it in demand. So
I backed it.
yeah, I backed it too.
I hadn't even heard of it until he popped up on the show, and then I was like, I saw him on the Tweeties, and I thought, well, what's all this nonsense that he's been promoting? And I was like, let's see what this kid's up to. And then I go and I look, and I was like, sweet Jesus, this looks good. And so I was like, I'm going to buy this.
Well,
Thank you.
And then I bought it.
Phil is very.
And then I told him I bought it, and then he said thank you. So if you want to thank you, if you want a heartfelt thank you, then you need to go buy it, and then he'll say, hey, thank you. And it'll make you feel good.
Now, as far as I know, Phil is very much a role playing maven and
Aficionado.
aficionado. That's a good word. That's a great word. And he definitely likes the vibe that Zach has put forward, who is also a role playing guy. And this is very much in the flavor of a world of D&D with a fantasy adventure. So yeah, if Golma is still open, I would suggest you go check it out. It's Golma, Golma, on Indiegogo. Who are you doing here, Zach?
I was also doing the Princess of Mars.
Okay, we got dueling Dagethauruses, or maybe this could be the other Princess of Mars. What's her
The
name?
other one. I don't know.
No, the one that married Carthoris. What's it? Thuvia. Thuvia.
Oh, Thugi.
Oh, Stephen of Mars.
Yes, Stephen of Mars. Stephen.
She was the prettiest.
I forgot to ask who are you doing armor on? Are you open? Are you up and running?
Yeah, I'm just doing the same as everyone.
Another
Everyone else.
another.
Because that's mostly what all Google images will bring up. Just that character. It's weird.
All right, I've got to go check on something. Can you guys talk amongst yourselves, please?
Who's on the chat tonight? We got Bruce Patnode. Spell that phonetically for me. We got Dink Crab, Yo Yo, Comic Book Bob. Comic Book Bob loves redheads. Who's doing redheads? Nobody. Nobody's doing any color.
Well,
There'll be some red in mine because the Moon Maiden has this red chas or cape or something going on.
Nice. That is a sweet ass you're doing right there, sir.
Oh, thank you.
That is a sweet ass. Of course, we all know that Monk is doing a sweet ass. God, there's all kinds of sweet ass going on tonight.
Have you not looked at a Frazetta piece?
I've never done, never tried to do Frazetta type stuff. So hopefully,
Well, I'm doing sweet front tonight, not sweet ass.
Go against the grain.
So, how many of you got introduced to Frazetta because of Death Dealer? Raise your hand. My hand's raised.
Warlord of Mars for me, actually, and then Fire and Ice, and just
Conan.
yeah. I think.
You know, that's the way I got introduced to him.
Same here.
I know that I had heard or have seen stuff when I was younger, but I didn't know who it was. And then one day I saw the Death Dealer poster, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool. And a friend of mine's older brother was like, yep, that's Frank Frazetta. And then, if I remember correctly, he went on for about 3 hours about, what's that goofy undead guy for, was it Iron Maiden or Eddie? I think that's his name.
Eddie.
Or Evil Ernie?
From
Something
Iron
like
Maiden,
that?
From Iron Maiden?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That would be Eddie from
But I
Iron
don't think that the two had anything to do with each other.
No,
I'm
they're
back.
not.
Welcome back.
All right, I had armor on white box the whole time. Wonderful. Who are you doing, Devil Dinosaur? Eric Hudson.
As the way it should be.
Yeah, this is the Moon Maiden.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Looking
Yeah.
good, yeah, nice.
And it's dreaded dinosaur, not devil, because that's a Marvel property.
I apologize.
I don't want to get sued.
That's I would yeah. I am Humble. Who are you doing?
I'm doing one from Fire and Ice, another from the Frazetta Girls poster. Just wanted to do a big t-shirt design thingy.
Okay, cool, excellent.
And I made sure to include plenty of cats.
Wow. And then Illustrated Monk. Who are you doing?
Monk.
Monk. Hello, Monk.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who are you doing?
Can you hear me at all?
Yes, can hear you.
Yes.
Can you hear us? Apparently he couldn't hear us. He's doing somebody.
He's not on Verizon.
Yeah. Monk, can you hear us? Monk?
Monk.
Bueller? Okay. We'll
He's
move on.
Bueller,
dead.
Bueller.
Red Robot, who are you doing?
I'm doing a female based off his book cover for Icons. She's sort of like a vacuum looking
Okay.
sci-fi character.
Yeah. So when Frazetta finally settled on a young woman to marry, her name was Ellie Kelly, and if
Ellie
you
Kelly.
if you look throughout his work, you can actually see her. She did some modeling for him, and she was actually pretty well put together in her youth. So yeah, look around and you might see Ellie, his wife. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things about Frazetta that I enjoy. Um, he as we were discussing earlier in the chat, the Cheesecake chat. George Lucas kind of ripped off the look for Princess Leia from J. J. Thoris is done by Frazetta, and that's okay because they were actually friends. He was also friends with Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood had him do a couple of posters for some of his movies, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. He did movie posters as well as like a bunch of book covers and just straight up paintings, um, and most of them he retained the ownership of, which is really nice. Only a few of them got out into the wild and got away from him. But yeah, a lot of, he was in that era that he realized that his art was worth more in kind of a licensing idea, that like he'd do a commission and he retained kind of the ownership, but they could just use the image. Um, and he kind of started that in the same way like ERB Edgar Rice Burroughs did that for writers, saying like you can print this, but you don't own my writing, which somebody like Robert E. Howard didn't do. So the estate of Robert E. Howard is nowhere near the estate of Edgar Rice Burroughs, which you would think Robert E. Howard would have learned from Edgar Rice Burroughs because Robert Edgar Rice Burroughs preceded Robert E. Howard. But most of those writers in the pulp era were writing for like a penny a word, that sort of thing. Um, and so until you got a little bit more juice, they didn't do that. But for some reason, because he was a businessman, he'd done a few things in his life. Edgar Rice Burroughs was able to say, "Now, you can print this, but I own the actual stories," which afforded him later on the ability to, sell it to movies and so forth, and then he got him buying a whole ranch, which eventually became a town called Tarzana, which is off topic, but anyway. Um,
Please do go on.
yeah.
Also, something though that's off topic is that Clint Eastwood was also a inspiration for Deja Thoris.
Oh,
He had a hell of a set of gams on him.
was he? I did not know that. That's something that I was not informed
It's trivial knowledge. Not a lot of people know it, but it is true.
Yeah. We'll have to talk with Clint about that. Yeah. So yeah. And then this time he was cast as Deja Thoris, but then the movie fell through. Yeah. I'm trying to remember which of the movies that Frazetta did the covers. I mean the posters for. There was that one where Clint Eastwood was, I believe, a bounty hunter. And he was with Sandra Locke, and they're being chased by like bikers and shit. And
Anyway, rich but loose or something
no,
like that.
it's not that one. This was more serious. They were driving a truck, like a semi, out into the desert. What was the name of that?
Did one of them have a bear or a monkey?
No, that was any which way but loose, and any which way you can, head in the ring thing. But yeah.
Okay.
Clive.
And did Clint Eastwood wear a cowboy hat and drive a Trans Am?
No. I think
He
you're.
wasn't
I
chased
think
by
you're.
Boss Hogg?
I think you're thinking another something, but you know,
And
good
jump
try.
over, like,
Good
jumps
try.
over.
Yeah. I can't remember that movie. It wasn't one of his bigger movies. Um, I always liked Any
Didn't
Which Way
travel
But
around the
Loose.
country.
Why I liked Any Which Way But Loose, where they have the final fight, is like in the middle of like Jackson Hole. They're like ranges around Jackson Hole, and that's near. I'm fairly close to Jackson Hole, within a couple hundred miles. It's always fun to watch that. Plus, you know, there's a monkey punching people. Who doesn't love that?
I knew it.
Yeah, he's a monkey puncher. Okay.
Sounds disgusting.
Yeah, I know. That's like a donkey punch. Oh boy, why did they bring that up? Yeah, those are two. If you like Clint Eastwood and you want just to have a good time that's not like serious or isn't Any Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can are both they're fun little action comedies. But there you go. What is the name of that damn movie? I'm very much I'm getting older, and so I can't remember stuff right off the top of my head, which is annoying. I'm a boomer. I'm not actually a boomer, but I feel like a boomer. So, and you guys have experienced that on many an occasion. Yeah. So what are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? Let's look at the chat. I'm gonna forget about that damn movie. Chat.
Well, we know how to pronounce Bruce's last name. Thank you, Bruce.
Patton. Is that how you say it?
Hell yeah, Pat Nod.
We've got 12 people in the chat, but hardly anybody's talking. That's weird. You guys need to talk more. Please, make some noise in the chat, as it were. Just lay down some lines. That would be good, so I can respond to you, and we'll have stuff to talk about besides just my palaver about Frazetta. Because, let me go down this a little bit. It's very nice. Very nice. You guys are doing a good job today. Feeling it. I'm feeling it. I wish a monk would not make so much noise, though. It's starting to get annoying. Oh, we lost.
He's always so damn loud.
I know. How dare he? We lost one person out of the chat. We're down to 11. Oh, wait. Look, now we got people talking. Oh, I had to refresh. That's why nobody was talking. That's why I couldn't get them to... Oh, apologies, chat. All right. So let's... Dink Crab. Yo. I don't know who Dink is, but yo back. Yo ma. Comic Book Bob. Comic Book Bob. Oh, damn. Loves me some redhead. Why aren't you in here, Comic Book Bob? Bruce Patton. In an interview, I remember he was asked why why he paints humans in various states of undress, and he said because he hated drawing and painting clothes. Although he could do that with no problem. Yeah. Draping gets to be a chore, from what I understand. So, what are we gonna do? But yeah, I personally think he just liked drawing people. He just liked drawing the human form, and why not? When it's done right, it is lots of fun to look at. Eric Hawkins says, "Draw something pretty, people." Are you guys doing that? Are you fulfilling Eric Hawkins' wishes?
Better be.
Bruce
Lust.
Patnow says, Patnod. Okay, I will do that properly. Pat your tummy, nod your head. Okay. Apologies for the mispronunciation. Eric Hawkins, Zach has a great looking book. Can't wait to get it. Neither can I, man. I really can't. It looks like a lot of fun, and Zach really knows how to make an atmospheric look to his art. So, Comic Book Bog, Fire and Ice, baby. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. when I watch it, you kind of have to let go of the script is interesting. Let's just put it that way. It's not fully like fleshed out, but it's really beautiful. The animation was done very well, and it has a very it's in the Frazetta style, which you can't beat that. And I wish that more movies had been done in the Frazetta style, but oh well. Dean Crab, Twitter random homie retweet an okay. Twitter random homie retweet image. Okay. Flit says, "Whew, wasn't sure if I was going to make it tonight." Well, we're glad you're here, Flit. He's our trusty moderator, the mighty blue wrench in his control. Glad you're here.
How dare you?
How dare you? Bruce
Yeah.
Patnod says the gauntlet, and Bruce says, "Slick, you're the one." Yes, the gauntlet. That's what it is. The gauntlet. Exactly. He also did a poster for From Dusk Till Dawn. He did as well. Yeah. He did several posters throughout his career. Can't remember a night at it was basically like a burlesque, this big wide burlesque poster for was it Night at Mickey's, something like that. Yeah, Bruce Patnod. Yeah, he's definitely that was it. It was the gauntlet. And, that's it. Pablo Art noise. Noise. Yeah, what's a noise? Make noise.
You told him to make noise.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the chat. We have 12 people back in there. Probably I'm one of them because I'm looking at it. So, yeah, fantastic. We had a pretty good response to the tweet I put out yesterday. We got over 225 likes. Apparently, it didn't show up in the chat, but at least they liked the art that Whiskey Paint put, and I think that they liked the theme, which I really think is a great theme. Frazetta and his inimitable art, and stuff
that painting that Whiskey did is just sick.
Very nice. I actually said that to him. Do it in kind of a flavor of Frazetta, but do your own thing. And what it came out, I personally, it came out kind of like a mix between Boris and Frazetta, but it's very, it's obviously Whiskey Paint style, like the look of the girls, but like the vibe is those guys. And I to basically Brian Ball of Rags and Jim Helis of Blue Mamba to also monetize in whatever way, and I'm obviously going to use it. So the three of us get to use that piece, or both the clothed one, and then kind of the gold metal bikinis, and also the au natural. So I'll get something out there soon. Brian's already monetized it, put it up as wall hangers, and yeah, he's showed them off. So one of his patrons has a wall full of rag stuff, and those two were hung on the wall, which was very nice. 13 people in the chat. Bruce Patton, yes, Whiskey's piece was very good. Yeah, I mean, Whiskey doesn't do bad work; he just doesn't. And like even his sketches he did for me, like his concept stuff, is a lot of fun. I'll be including those in the book so that people can kind of see them and get a little bit out of it. Yeah. So, you gonna do that with Golma?
Yeah, dude. We hit a stretch goal because thanks to Phil Ketch and all of you wonderful people, we hit a stretch goal. So there's gonna be a bunch of sketch stuff in the back and everything.
That's cool. It's always exciting to kind of show the process of how things came about. And then if you have fan art or other stuff that you've done, just throw it in the gallery in the back. It's always fun. I have a big old gallery that I've commissioned over time. Most of it's going to be put in the first book, but some of the ones I've done recently are probably going to be in the second book. So, yeah. And I have to say that when I think of my character is a very svelte and lithe young lady. But when I think of sensual characters visually, I fall back often to Frazetta. Frazetta wasn't afraid to actually put cellulite on his gals, which is an interesting choice. Sorry, I had to cough. I got this stupid dry cough that won't go away. And everybody's like, "You got the woo." I'm like, "No, I don't."
Hmm.
Yeah, I got the sniffles and the sneezes and everything.
Yeah.
Sniffles and sneezes.
Chapped lips.
The biggest thing is that I also have allergies too, and so people are like, "Oh my god, you're like, no, I have allergies."
Yeah.
Not me. I'm woo free.
Yeah, I did a bit of spring cleaning in my room the other day, and it just exploded on me. I was just like sneezing about 20 times per second.
It's like, "Oh my god, you're gonna die." No, no, I'm not. It's, it's allergies. Quit.
I just took a lozenge and took a swallow of water, so should be all right for a bit. It's when my throat gets dry. It's weird. I don't know why it's just hung on since I got the flu. I did get the flu, but I didn't get the woo. So there we go. Been looking at. Let's go down the line again. Oh look, John Carter. And yeah, nice.
Yep.
And I don't know what we got the Moon Maid. Now, people who do know Frazetta know that he was not afraid to do the unclothed body, now, especially in sketches, male or female. You know, you just do it. He didn't do hardly any like pornographic work, but he did do one little series that actually got sold like a couple of years ago. It was like an interracial thing, and Nubian god with some blonde lady. And that was about the only thing that he ever did, and it went for a pretty good, pretty penny actually. So
He had a coffee table book with
It turned into a coffee table.
dude. That would be so cool. If it also turned into a semi, I would be so happy. But no, actually, it was full of a bunch of nude little boys. And I bought it, and I was like, "Oh, cool, Frazetta." I didn't even look at it. Went through the line, bought it, took it home, cracked it open. I'm like, "Whoa, there's a whole lot of little boy dong in this." Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. And the craziest thing is those little boys were hung like horses.
yeah,
It was like, what kind of donkey crank are you drawing here, son?
it's not really little. I think I know what you're talking about. They're not really little boys. They're more like little dwarves. But yeah, they were like friggin' tripods.
It was impressive, that's for sure.
One of my favorite ones is like this gal. She's skinny dipping and she's like covering herself up, and then behind her is this tree that looks like an ant that has this big grin on his face. I don't know. If you'd have to look it up. I probably should have had that out and like so I could share, but whatever. I don't want to get hit with a strike. I don't think the Frazetta girls would go after me, but we're doing something in honor of their great sire. So yeah, pretty cool. I like what I'm seeing here, guys. You're doing him justice tonight. Let's go look at Armoron. He apparently she's got I guess that's Stegosaurus with a John Carter tattoo on her ass. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is she's well endowed. You like the well endowed women there, Armoron.
Is that a problem?
No? I'm
Make
just noting that you like them.
Well, then you need to look at mine, sir.
But the breastages on those on your ladies have their own gravitational magnetism. So, moving down to Moon Girl. Moon Girl's looking pretty nice, very painterly. Good job, Eric. He's going with the painter's look tonight. Okay. Going on to
You getting something over there?
Phil's just he's erasing the hell out of his paper. And then we got a humble Marty's. We got some boobies here. Oh, very nice, very cute. With a little happy little cat right there. Yeah. Phil,
I just realized.
you're making a lot of damn noise. Just saying. That's all right.
Am I?
Then we go on to Illustrator Monk.
Gotta erase.
This is very much Frazetta with a very curvy gal, and the yeah, this is very Frazetta, and he's got that big old saber tooth, which is very much a throat of what Frazetta did on many occasions. So, going down to Red Robot. Yeah. Who is this? Who we're looking at?
What?
The woman who you're drawing.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just using kind of her pose as a reference, but I'm doing the sci-fi girl from his Icons cover.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Yep. The one with the gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Excellent. Moving along to Mr.
Should go steal some viewers from Ethan's channel right now.
Oh well, yeah. Ethan is on. That's probably it's probably gonna drain the swamp or whatever. That's all right. Go on. People can go to Ethan and listen to him all they want. That's fine. What are we doing here? Phil? It's getting pixelated, so I'm having a hard time seeing it from my end anyway.
Oh, is it really? Let me see if I can do anything about that.
Oh. It looks. I can tell it's Egyptian. It's an Egyptian lady. She's got her hands on her hips, like, where are my peeled grapes and my palm fronds?
Uh-oh.
So yeah, it's not resolving. That's all right. I can live with it.
That's really weird. Oh yeah, I can see it. That is screwy.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh.
And we got a Daniel Vega from Tech Corner. Everybody loves Tech Corner. Yeah, there you go. It's looking very Digithoris or Thuvia or one of the other ones, Lana of Gathol.
I know he had like a few, and I was like, oh, I'll just pick something and run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with me. Whatever.
I'm gonna go off on a tangent right now. John Carter, done by Disney, who were not the people to do Barsoom. I'm sorry, they were not the people to do Barsoom. The company, somebody else should have done Barsoom. And then they had the stupid idea to name it just John Carter instead of calling it Barsoom, or better yet, A Princess of Mars. But then again, A Princess of Mars, they should have done it not under Disney. They should have done it under one of their other heads, like Touchstone or something like that. But they're morons. And then they shouldn't have given it to a guy who had never worked in live action before. They should have given it to somebody and they shouldn't have done everything with no blood. And they should have had people with less clothes on. I'm not saying they had to be naked, but they should have done it like Barsoom. And so, like, I know people who love John Carter because it's basically the only film ever done. It's propers to the property. There was another one done with like Tracy Lords, which was ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, she was Digithoris, and they didn't even darken her hair. I was like, what the hell? She looked like some sort of Valkyrie. It's like, no, sorry, no.
It did bring me hours of good times, though.
That one, the one with Antonio Sabato Jr. as John Carter. It's like
hours of good times.
Jeez. But yeah, I wasn't very happy. So I did. And
if they would have called it John Carter of Mars, I think that would have been a smarter move.
John Carter.
Just calling it John Carter was so screwy. And then, like, what killed me about it was that once it came out and people were talking about it, they were like, "Oh my god, it just reminded me of Star Wars." And I was like, "You boob!" And everybody was just like, "What? I don't get it." I'm like, Jesus Christ. What is wrong with you?
And that's one of the things that I a lot of the things, like, they did the flyers not like they were written. Of course, like, the flyers look like boats in the books. All right, it was Burroughs
It's like
was
Star Wars meets Total Recall.
yeah, and like these people don't realize that every last one of those damn things is influenced by fucking those books. And I'm just like, it really it makes me frustrated. And like Stanton wasn't really a big, he hadn't read the books when he was younger, and that's the problem with these damn companies. They don't get people who have a passion for those. I mean, why not just find it? I mean, there's plenty of people who did it. Robert Rodriguez was attached for a while, and he absolutely loved it. I know a lot of people don't like Rodriguez because they say this, that, and the other thing, but I think he would have done it justice, and because I love what he did with Sin City. He didn't pull any punches, and I would.
Alita.
Alita was all right as well. I mean, when he has a passion for it, he really does a great job. Um, and I think he would have done an awesome.
You know who
job.
I think would have done a really fantastic job?
What?
Let's hear.
I think Zack Snyder would have crushed it.
You think?
Yeah, I really do. Because the thing is for all the heat that he gets, like he understands visual style more than almost anybody I've ever seen, besides maybe Rodriguez.
Well,
But
here's the thing: like with him, I don't like his narrative aesthetic. Like he had a franchise in his hands with a concept that he would have been able to do multiple movies with Sucker Punch, and he just squandered it on this.
I think
No,
that
I'm gonna interject here.
the reviewers,
I'm gonna interject.
I think the reviewers really
No.
went a little too crazy with it.
I loved
I
it.
loved Sucker Punch.
Well, I loved the visuals, but when it came to the actual story, the story is just all over the place, and it really doesn't flow, and it doesn't have what they call 4-quadrant appeal or even 3-quadrant appeal, um, and that's the problem with it is that it's too much like it's like a ridiculously budgeted you know
Music
student
video.
film. No, music video student film. He's trying to put all these concepts, these deep concepts, and they just fall flat for most people. And I get what he was trying to say, but he would have been much smarter to have this team of girls survive, or at least one of them, one of them die, but like have it be more something that isn't just this mental interplay of abuse and all that other stuff. It didn't. Most people didn't do it, and it didn't do that great of money once people saw it. I remember watching it and with a bunch of friends, and we came out of there and we were like, well, that was not what it was billed as. And that's the other thing about it, is marketing didn't say that was what it was going to be. It was.
I saw it with a bunch of women, and they came out of there and they were unbelievably happy.
What?
And I came out of it like
hard.
I was just like, oh, this is cool. Say again.
You roboted hard. I don't know what the women were coming out.
Oh, I went and I saw the movie with a bunch of women, and when it was over with, I was just like, well, what'd you guys think? And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And I was like, that's cool. And they were like, what'd you think? And I was like, oh, hot girl and schoolgirl outfit, winner.
Well, see, here's the weird thing. Like, the only things I like about that,
how dare you,
are basically when they're in their fantasy realm. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this stuff about them being abused in a place, and even that was not. It's not stilted. It didn't seem real. It was just this other world, and then I didn't vibe with it. I wanted to see them kicking ass for 2 hours, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that's what they billed it as. Like when you saw it, that's what they were billing it as. And then when you get into the theater, you're like, totally different thing. I mean, and then nobody wanted to do, like, it didn't make enough money to do another, maybe he didn't want to do a sequel, but like that was a property that like the hype on that thing was big. And then when I first saw it, I was like, oh fuck, this is like stealing my idea for Little Girl Lethal, and I'm never gonna, and then I saw it and I was like, I don't have to worry about it. It's nothing like it, because I thought it was going to be this dimension spanning them moving around, through time and space, and fighting some cosmic evil, and it turned out to be bullshit. At least from my perspective.
Come on, it was them going to their happy place while they were abused.
Yeah,
Or at least the one girl.
Yeah, it's just them compartmentalizing.
Yeah, a lot of MK Ultra references in that movie.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's fine. There's a whole bunch of other things, and then the other thing is like, you never got to see her dance. And the things like, it would have been so cool if you had an actress who could dance, and then like overlay that with the fantasy of it. It would have been cool. Or like having her do like dance moves as she fights, that sort of thing, like this.
Dance fighting.
What?
Dance fighting.
No, see, if you would do like martial arts, it looks very much like a dance. I mean, often, especially like Hong Kong stuff. I would have done stuff like that, mix in like true fighting, and then make it a little bit more artsy.
I just like the giant bunny mech.
Do you like that? I really
Yeah.
loved when fighting the samurais, and I liked the dragon thing. It was weird, with the freaking bomber.
The whole mech and World War II bomber thing. That was my.
Yeah, and then it was interesting with the zombies in World War One, and
Yeah.
it would have been fun if they just done that for the whole film. They were going
Ripped
through
that
time.
off from the. He ripped that off from the heavy metal movie.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, like going through time, they could have gone back further and different eras and cultures. It would have been lots funner if it was a different narrative. And then you get to the end of this downer ending, and you're like, okay, the girl gets away, but all these other girls get killed, in really terrible circumstance. And your protagonist, who isn't really your protagonist, gets lobotomized. It's great time. So happy about that. So yeah, I mean, if you like it, and that's fine. The movie Bob, man, he masturbated about that something fierce in one of his reviews, and I was like, okay, you got to really understand it. If you don't understand it, you're just not seeing it. I'm like, anybody has to say that about a film is bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you can say that about in Mulholland Drive, which is one of those films you're like, what the hell was that all about? And you literally have to deconstruct it. And it's one of the reasons I did it one time. It does have a narrative flow. You just have to. It's so convoluted that it's really hard. But a lot of people love it not a lot of people. Certain people love it because it is so niche and so weird, and then they can jack off to the lesbian scene. So yeah, I mean, again, it's my opinion. I like to be entertained. I don't like to be. When I watch something, unless I want to go into it to be, I guess, challenged. I usually just want to watch stuff to be entertained, because life is hard enough as it is. I don't want to go watch fucking Sophie's Choice unless I know what Sophie's Choice is about. And if anybody knows that film, it's a very well put together film, but you come out like you feel like you got punched in the gut and kicked in the face.
And you know the kicker? Sophie didn't even make a damn choice. Got the whole freaking movie, not one single choice.
Never listen.
I mean,
never
that's
listen. Never
scientifically
listen to Phil.
that's
He's
scientifically impossible,
feeding
and
you
yet
bull
somehow
crap.
he did it.
He's always feeding you bullcrap, people. It's fun bullcrap, but it's just bullcrap. Sophie made many choices, and one specific though. It was.
You say that, but I didn't see a single choice.
It's because you fell asleep, probably. All right,
It's
let's go.
entirely possible.
Should we look? In the chat? 17 people in the chat. That's fantastic, Fence. And they're all. What are you
Bullet
guys
says
talking about?
work with a hard R. What?
Work with a hard R. Yeah, work. Okay. Was Flit Amaret says 100 pages of fantasy adventure await you in Zachary Bradley's graphic novel Golden in demand on IGG. Matthew Siebel. Hey, nice. I think I know that fella. I made it. I had to delete YouTube and reinstall the app because it froze. What? That's crazy. Flit Amaret also says, by the way, I need Marty to explain just what the fuck bubble tea is.
Oh,
Sci-fi snob had.
bubble tea?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Bubble tea. Yes.
Bubble tea has these little tapioca pearls in them, and they're just called Bubba pearls.
Did not know that.
It's literally one of those fancy coffee drinks you find at Starbucks.
Interesting. Very.
It's for the 12-year-olds to giggle at.
Sci-fi snob got a message retracted. I wonder if he said something he didn't want people to know about, or what happened to sci-fi snob. Pablo Art,
Selfish
Pablo Romero
choice.
says, sounds like someone is enjoying the stream a little too much. I'm saying this because of the noise someone was doing. Yeah, I think that was Phil. He was banging something. Something.
I was sharpening.
Oh, that's what you call it. Pablo Romero. I have to explain because Jimmy reads the chat an hour later and doesn't understand. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Pablo is correct. That happens. We're down to 14 people. They keep popping in and out. Phil's mic is peaking badly. Phil.
You're peeking badly, bro.
That's what Flit said. I didn't say that. Flit said it. But it is peaking. Tank Ferret is in the chat. Howdy, fellow purveyors of fine cheesecake. And then he starts asking people who's all up in the panel. A bunch of people. We got 8 people tonight. 8 fine, wonderful artists. We have a spot left for anybody who wants to jump in late if they're feeling frisky. Amaret, you know what has wild visuals and even an even wilder story? The Adventures of Corkhorn by Humble Marty. Go check it out on Amazon.com. Flip Martyr says, "Yo, Tank." Hey, Tank. How you doing, buddy? Bullets in the chat now. I blame orcs for most of it. Yes, those damn orcs. We know orcs with a hard R. Tank First says orcs with a hard C. Orcs. Bullet says, I say orc with a hard R. Yeah. And Bullet also says, if they don't want me to say it, they shouldn't put it in their music. Yep, those damn orcs with their... What kind of music do they do again? It's like
Orc and roll, I
it's
think.
it's like Death Polka or something like
Orcs, they do the hip hops.
that. Do the hip hops?
It's polka.
Yeah, they do the hip hops.
The hoppity
You heard of
hips.
orc polka?
Orc, yeah, death metal orc polka. Flit Amaret says, that's Film Robert to you, sir. Film Robert. Oh, yeah. Movie Bob. Movie Bob is an interesting guy. That's all I'm going to say. Tech Fair says, Slick, can I throw money at you for a copy of Little Girl Lethal? You still can, if you so desire. It is still in demand on Indiegogo. You can have a digital copy, or you can have a modest or immodest actual hard copy. Now,
I purchased the immodest.
The modest has some covering on strategic places upon certain anatomy, whereas the immodest does not. There you have it. Okay. Moving on. Bullet says, Sophie made the choice. She left the cat in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? I got a cough. Just a sec.
You know the thing that still bothers me about that scene is when Morgan Freeman backs up and says, everybody on collision control. It's like, dude, he's on the ground. You've got 2 guns. Shoot him. And then, I guess they did, but still, I was like, why is Morgan Freeman being silly? Don't be a silly goose. Just shoot him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, did I spoil that?
Spoil what? Snakes on a plane?
7.
I thought it was kind of weird when Morgan Freeman drop kicked what's her name's head?
Paltrow?
Paltrow's head, yeah. I mean, everybody wants to do that, but he did it. And it went over. It went. They had those big power lines, and it went up and over that, and everybody went goal. It's pretty cool.
You are so sexist.
I know.
How dare you?
Dare you? Okay, Bullet says so. It's not alive or dead. Uh, no, it's undead alive. Matthew Siebel, stupid app wouldn't leave a comment screen and frustrated me no end. Damn freaking app. They keep changing the app. Like just recently on my YouTube app, they just switched everything around, and I hate it when they do that. Oh, what it is there's somebody at these companies that has to justify their job. Things are working just fine, right? But they have to justify their job and flip stuff around. See, look at what I did. Look what I did. Hey, we made it better. And then a lot of people are like, "No, you freaking screwed it up." And like, "Oh no, this is better." No, it's not. Do I sound bitter? I think I do. Flint Amaret says,
That's
yes,
okay.
you can, Tank, by checking out Little Girl Lethal on IGG, Indiegogo. I'd recommend a very immodest proposal perk. That is one that you can choose. And, yeah. Flint Amaret, yes, a very hard copy. Extremely hard. Very rigid copy. Yeah. And then Tank Fritz says, I'm sure I'll get a quote-unquote hard copy. And that's the end of the chat right now. We got 17. No, we got 16 people. Keep bumping out.
I bought the immodest copy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
and then when you showed it to me, I was like, "Sweet Jesus, is this immodest?" Whew.
Well, don't oversell
For like
it.
3 days, all I could draw was Little Girl Lethal's colon.
Colon?
All that flipping around she's doing. Good Lord.
I don't think you knew what you were looking at.
It was good stuff, though. It's good stuff.
Maybe the introitus, not the colon. Okay. I'm gonna say taint so. Taint. Going down the panel.
Do girls have taint?
Girls do have taints. The perineum.
Are you sure?
Men have taints and girls have taints. We both have taints.
I know guys have taint. I'm always looking at mine. I'm talking
You're really flexible, man. That's amazing.
Girls right now.
I didn't know you had that kind of.
I'm very flexible. Yeah, I do yoga now.
Yeah, once he figured out how to look at his own taint, he never left the house, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay, armor on. Looking very nice. Adding some stuff in. We got the Phobos and Deimos in the background. Very nice. Yeah, very good. And adding color in. And let's go over to Eric Hodson, the dreaded dinosaur. Yeah, Moon Girl. Now, for everybody who don't know, what this is off topic from Frazetta again. This is ERB. ERB's entire canon hooks in somewhere together, even though some of it is not fantastic. It's like westerns, and some of it is just like a detective novel. Somewhere, somehow, they fit into everything else.
Like Stephen King.
Like Stephen King, like Asimov, very much.
Like Jesus.
No, not like Jesus. Jesus didn't write any fiction, as far as I know. Or some people might say, well, I'm not going to go there. All right. Oh, yeah, almost got off in the weeds, in the philosophical, theological weeds. Going over to Humble Marty. Look, we have two young ladies. They're two. I think that they're twins. Are they twins? Close.
Kind of. It's a mirror image from one of Frank Franzetta's original drawings. I know mine wouldn't be as realistic, so I just decided I would draw as many of his girls in one picture as possible, since I knew I kind of have a cartoon style anyway.
Humble Marty going crazy with the boobies and the buttons. Yep, we like it. We like it going along. We're going down to Illustrator Monk. Illustrator Monk's putting in color. Very nice, very nice. Got the kitty and got the two kitties. The pretty young lady and the big hungry kitty. Yep. Very nice. Can't remember what he's doing, but which character, but he's doing it well. All right, Red Robot.
How's it going?
How are things? Are you getting there?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right. All right. Cool. We're 10 after 10. I am going to give you a little extra time today, just in case if you're not finished, because I want to do Mr. Frazetta justice. So yeah, keep that in mind. Going down to Phil. Oh, look at that. There you go.
Can you see me?
I can see you much sharper than it was before. We have a little color, and she's swarthy. She's swarthy skinned, Egyptian, and putting a little cat in the background. Yeah, right on. Remember, Phil, you have to have one of Frazetta's men in there. Just letting you know.
What, do I look like tech over here?
I'm just saying. Just saying.
All right, I'm not tech, bro.
Why?
Hey,
Why
out there.
were you making her ears really?
I follow directions.
You just don't read them in the chat.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on down
I
to.
follow directions.
Speaking of which, Daniel Tech, who is this character? Is this who are we looking at? Is that Conan?
Yeah, I was like, I figured I'd just pick the easiest one I can remember.
He looks like a Raggedy Ann doll. That's right. with a little
A mean Raggedy Ann, but yeah.
a little pick stick, a little dirk, little dagger. All right, yeah, nice. Now, you showed the whole body there. Oh, there it is. Is this supposed to be a? Let me clear my throat. Is this supposed to be a Dagethors? Or
I
Princess
hope so, but I'm
remember they're red skin. They're not unless you're
Ooh.
doing the black skin ones, but they're really black.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 races. There's 4 races. There are white skin that have blonde hair, but most of them are fake haired.
Are they psychic?
Some of them are. In fact, most people on the planet are, but they have very much control of their brain, so for them to get inside. Now, the red skin doesn't have to be really red. You can do it. That's fine. But there's red, and then there's like a really yellow, and then a really black, and then there's a really white. The red skin has been described as kind of a copper tint, but I tend to think there should have been a gradation. You from fire engine red, kind of devilish, to lighter, like copperish. But yeah, whatever. The red skins are supposed to be the mix of the yellows, the whites, and the blacks all together, because those are the more ancient races.
Racist.
That's right. Very racist. There's lots of races on Barsoom. But yeah. Moving down
what about things like eye color and hair and?
that was never discussed. I assume that the Therns, who were the white skins, had blue eyes or whatever, but I mean, it was never really discussed. So that's up to interpretation, I think. The Redskins had black hair. They usually had black hair. The blacks had they were just black, And then for some reason the yellows also had black hair. So.
Yeah, but doing straight black hairs.
But there was an ancient race that actually had red hair. They were white, so he was drawn on that. But it's Barsoom. It's very fantastical. You can do whatever you want. And then on the moon, one of the moons, they had blue skinned. They had blue skinned forearmed race. And then there was a green race. Everybody from the movie, they called them the Tharks, which is not. That's just a tribe. There's just like the Warhoon were tribe. There's no difference between them. They're both the green men of Mars, or the green race.
And they called Earth Jarsum.
Jasum.
Whatever.
Sorry.
Same thing.
Sorry. No, it's not the same thing. You're wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong. You can be
Jupiter
and are wrong.
Sassum. It's very sassy from Jupiter. Yeah. So, and each there was actually a whole thing around that. Venus has its own name. Mercury has its own name, and then like Carson of Venus is also in the same universe as John Carter and Tarzan. They're all in the same universe.
He could have started his own cinematic universe.
Well, he did. He was doing that. He was like making his own thing way back when, and that was pretty cool. We're looking at Zach Bradley. This is obviously Barsoom. He's got a big moon there. Yeah. Usually, how you tell Barsoom that they have double moon. Just letting you know.
Almost like Tatooine, but in reverse.
Almost. Strangely enough, basically, anybody knows the moons of Mars. They're basically just captured asteroids. Yeah, they're not very round. But Barsoom is not technically Mars, like the real Mars.
Eventually, they're gonna burn up in the atmosphere too. 1 year.
Maybe more time from now. Yeah, unlike our moon, moon's moving away. Yeah, let's look at the
Can't
chat.
get away from us faster.
Yeah. Here's a weird thing though. If the moon ever does leave, our planet will be in a very weird situation because the tides and the tilt of the planet are caused by the moon's rotations and stuff. So things would change pretty drastically on our planet from how we are now. Okay, where are we at? Let's look. What are we doing here? Well, let's look. Flit Amrit says Sugar's Cullen. Phil has some weird fetishes. I know. Phil does have weird fetishes. Not to kink shame.
Yeah, bro, you should come over and check out my drawing reference file.
Well, Flit says not to kink shame though, bro. You do you. Yep. Just let me have it. Have that colon fetish.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Colon
Should
blow.
the FBI come over and look at your drawing reference file?
Yeah, come on by. I've got tons of colon in my my files.
Pablo Romero says, I bought the Modest because I'm a decent man. Okay, Pablo. I've seen your art, so I don't know, man. Tank Bear, behold the majesty of the chocolate starfish.
Dusty wagon wheel.
Pablo Romero says, Marty is getting better. No, did you hear that, Marty?
Oh, sweet.
Pablo's giving you props. Flit Amaranth, like Monk's art, then go ahead and treat yourself to a print of his work from New Age Ninja Core. Go on, you deserve it. Yep, go do it. New Age Ninja Core, there's a link right there. Go and pick it up. Bullet, I have art on there too. Oh, wow, that's fantastic, Bullet. And then Flit Amaranth says, do you, Bullet? Yes, and he says, I do. New releases. It's on a mask. The Blue Ranger face mask. Oh, nice. It's on my Twitter as well. That's fun. And, yeah. Apparently, Bullet says he gets around. He's the type of guy who gets around. Right, down the panel one more time. We're looking at Armoron. Oh, lots of color. Liking the color. Very nice. You know what sets our drawing stream apart? The color. I think it's awesome. We got a moon girl. Very nice. Very sweet. Oh, is the guy up on top of the spear? Who is that?
Yeah,
Oh,
like a little
that's
Death Dealer doll
Death
hanging
Dealer.
on.
That's the Death Dealer up on top of the spear. All right, and then we got Marty doing another girl or somebody or guy. I'm not sure who this is as of yet.
Getting in those 2 chibis.
Oh, okay. You don't have to do 2, but I mean, if you want to do 2, that's up. Oh, look at that.
I had to do 2 of them. I mean, Necron and Darkwolf, they kind of are like the Batman and Joker of Fire and Ice.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, from Fire and Ice. Well, we're moving on down to Illustrator Monk. I don't know if he's going to put a chibi in there. I'm still waiting for it. You going to put a chibi in there, Illustrator Monk? Going to put a little cartoon? He's ignoring me. It's alright.
How much time do we have left, Jim?
What?
How much time do we have left?
We have plenty of time.
5 minutes.
Oh, I guess.
Why? Are you getting tired? Are you done already?
No, I was just asking. Then
Are you a sleepy bear?
You sleepy Pooh
no,
Bear.
I
You
do
just
need to
sleepy
visit the
baby.
facility, so I shall be back.
I don't know where Red Robot is. All I see is his icon with the boobies and the paws.
I'm
So,
here.
oh, where's your? Are you not showing us what you're doing?
No, it should be on there.
I don't see it.
It's a secret.
Secrets.
Hold on. I might have to
Shatner.
reset the
Yeah, you might. I think you might because I
thing.
can't. I can't see it. All right, going down to Phil. Phil is it's pixelating again. For some
Am I
reason.
pixelated again? Damn it. I'm gonna reboot.
I don't know. It's just pixelating. Weird. Weird stuff. Weird, wild stuff. I don't think it's my computer. I have like a hard line, so.
No, I'm seeing it on the live feed.
I don't have fiber optics yet, which is really. Oh, you don't know how annoying this is. They started telling me that they were going to have fiber optics back in the 90s, right? So they put all the fiber optics in Provo, which is where BYU is. It's all fiber optic. And I live in Orem, which is like right next to Provo. They're like, hugging each other. We're up on a bench. We haven't had fiber optics for years. Like, Provo's had fiber optics for like 15 years, and we still don't have them. And they keep telling me every year, oh, we're going to be putting them in next year. Never happens, which is really annoying because like I can't have the super fast stuff. Like go down to my friends in Provo, and it's just like slick as a whistle. Crap. Moving on. Oh yes, she's very red now. Very much like looking very much like a red Martian. She's got blue little shoes on. Nice. And then Conan's down there. A little Conan doll. That's her it's her little toy. And then we go over to Zachary Bradley. Hey Zach, what's going on?
You know.
Got the chibi? Thinking of putting the chibi in there somewhere?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get the girl nice and cheesy.
Yeah. Remember that she's kind of reddish. Just letting you know.
Reddish.
If you doing,
Like a
are you doing
radish.
Barsoom? Or are you doing
I don't know.
Okay, if you're not doing Barsoom, it's not a big deal. If you're
There we
doing,
go. I think you should be able to see it now.
okay. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. Well, she's bronzed a little bit. Very nice. Liking the helm. It's feeling very Valkyrie-ish. Very good. Nice. We got 13 people in the chat. Very nice. If you guys want to, whoever's in the chat, if you want to like the stream, that's nice. We'd love that. And if you haven't signed up for the and become a follower or whatever it is, the sub, I would appreciate it. And anybody watching subsequently, they say just ask, and so I'm asking. Like the stream and sub to me if you feel so inclined.
I'm gonna reboot real quick. Don't do anything cool without me.
You're
Okay,
talking to
we're gonna
me.
do
How
so.
cool? How cool have I ever get?
Don't.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what the chat has to say. Apparently, TMI bullet. TMI. That's from Flit. Yeah. And Bullet says, well, sometimes you gotta drop the deuce on her. Oh boy. Oh boy. I almost read that online. Illustrator Monk. He's in there. My audio's messed up. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, well, the audio gets like that sometimes. We need Illustrator Monk to be able to talk. Because, actually, it might be a good thing because he never shuts up. And, look. Bullet, internet is trash since so many people are at home. This could be the possibility of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Caesar Feliciano, who's been on the show before, drawing along for a little bit before our call tonight. Thanks, man. That's awesome. And Bullet says, "Bwah!" He almost got me to say something really dirty, literally, scatological, in fact. So, yeah. That's the word for it. Coprophilia. That's one of those things that I'll never understand. I don't get it. All right, let's go down the panel. I'm getting some dead air here. I'm not talking about. Look at this. Look at this. Is that Dejathoris? Is that who you're gonna go that with? Armor on.
Yeah,
Good. She is robust.
I guess.
She is robust. She's not a model from the book, but we like it anyway. And she is thick. And she has John Carter on her ass.
Yep.
Chibi John Carter on her ass. She went to the tat shop and she's like, let's not make my husband exactly like like he looks. Let's go. Let's have a little fun. So when he spanks him, he's spanking himself. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Moving over to Eric Hudson. Pretty dinosaur. Got some background stuff. A little spire going on. What's this guy on the ground? Is this a guy or is it a rock? I don't know. Is that a rock?
Yeah, rocks.
I just thought it was somebody like bowing on the ground, and then you made it look more like rocks. That's a fine derriere right there. I must say,
Thank you.
it's very. The original had a fine derriere. She was on some sort of like centaur thing. That was good stuff right there. And moving over to Humble Morning. Humble Morning. Ooh, hand on the butt. Yep, there we go. 2 hands on the butt. Very round. Those are very round derrieres as well.
Mm-hmm.
Call that like a peach or an apple. We're talking apple ass, something like that. Yeah, good stuff. Moving on. Going over to Illustrator Monk, who has no mic. He is mic-less, for some reason. And so yeah, we're just looking at this. Very nice, very nice. I think it's Illustrator Monk's his thing to like basically do a butt shot if he doesn't win the Cheesecake Challenge. And so if you guys want a front shot of a girl, you're gonna have to give him a win. Otherwise, you just keep getting a butt shot, which I think some people might make you not win because they want more butt shots. I think you might be self-defeating there, buddy. I don't know. Just putting it out there. All right, we're moving down the panel. I love that. By the way, I love that golden saber tooth. Is very nice. Very nice. Going over to Red Robot. We are missing one person on the panel right now. That would be Phil. Red Robot. He's putting in the color, figuring some stuff out, doing the little chibi things. I think is that.
Yeah, the little versions of the robots that's on the cover of Icons.
Oh, okay. They were supposed to be males. I'm just letting you know.
Male.
They're male. You gonna prove it?
Yeah, just to get the cover of the book Icons.
Okay. All right. And then we're going down to Daniel Vega. Danny Vegas. There we go. That's a very red Martian, the way they should be. And now some people are like, did she get a really bad sunburn? Nope, that's how red Martians roll. And in the books, actually, it's said that they're naked, so they do wear accoutrement. But yeah, that they're naked. Now, you can take that for what it is. That in the early 1900s, 1800s, that maybe John Carter's version of naked could be bare. Semi-naked.
Yeah, because
But I mean,
it's
because
forever for like the bikini and the swim trunk to change.
yeah, well, and the thing is like, there's a reason why people wear loincloths. There's a different reason both for male and women. Women are protecting a place that can be invaded by stuff. So, and men are protecting something that is flopping in the breeze if you don't have anything to hold it in place. So, loincloths of some sort actually make sense. Braziers and stuff, they did make stuff over time, but a lot of tribes don't wear that. They just go with the breast bared, both male and female. But yeah, loincloths are kind of something that most tribes throughout our world, at least, least have had. So I kind of on Barsoom it would make more sense. Now the funny thing about Barsoomian races, they're oviparous. They're born from eggs. So technically, some people get real technical that Martians shouldn't have belly buttons. But I take it that inside the egg there's actually some sort of umbilical, and when they hatch, the umbilical releases. Because if you've ever tried to draw somebody without an umbilical, they look really weird. They just do without a belly button. So yeah, there you go. Moving down to Zachary Bradley.
Trying to get better at detailing muscles, so I'm hoping it looks all right.
Well, yeah, it's always good to improve your skills, learn the anatomy and how it works. I'm going to take another short break to cough.
Where's the damn cat? I won. Man. Double name.
Mm-hmm.
Cat isn't here tonight. He must be in the other room to keep my mom company. So who's that in the background there? Is that Death Dealer?
Yeah, tiny little death dealer.
Are you putting him on his horse too?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, I can't remember the name of the base in Texas, but they have a full-sized or maybe oversized Death Dealer statue. Where is that? Let me find it. Because that's one place I've wanted to go for a long time, and I haven't, and it really has annoyed me because I haven't gotten to go see the Death Dealer. Fort Hood. So if you want to go see the Death Dealer statue in Texas, it's at Fort Hood, and it's right next to one of their buildings. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, you can look it up, and it is there. It's sitting right. You can see it on Google Maps, just sitting there. Well, yeah. I'd also love to see somebody do like a Golden Girl statue out of marble. That'd be awesome. Nobody's gonna do that. Yeah. Going back to the chat, see if anybody's palavering. Are you guys talking? Are you just? Look, we still got 13 people. Fantastic, 13 people. All right. Phil Connect says it's cool, bro. I don't know what waifu means. You don't? You don't know what waifu means?
You're dead to us.
That's weird. He's definitely not a weeaboo. Let's go back up here a little bit. I've missed quite a bit. You guys have been talking. Yeah. Yeah. Flip Emirates. See, I told you. Need to do a CC draw along. See, well, this is true. And anybody who wants to draw along, who's sitting there, draw along and then post it with the hashtag Cheesecake Challenge after the show is ended. And yeah, I'd love to have that. It would be really cool for those who can't get in on the panel. Tonight we did have an extra spot on the panel, and nobody took it. So, but there is even if there isn't a spot or you can't do it, can't come on, yeah, definitely draw along, or if you feel like doing it later or whatever, that would be cool too. Especially giving props to old Frazetta and what he's created. Moving along, Matthew Siebel says scat play is gross. I agree. I'm not even going any more into that because Flint Amaranth points upward to that in agreement, and Bullet says I've been eating nothing but burritos for 2 weeks. Speaking of scat, it's going to be a magical chocolate waterfall. Yep. And Phil Connect says scat play is life. Phil is not on the panel right now. I guess he's trying to figure out his connection problem. But yeah. Paulo Romero says lots of Digithoris, and that's not a bad thing. Never a bad thing to have Digithoris. She's one of the original hotties from fiction. Bullet says, make sure to get a stain-resistant waifu body pillow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the little Scotch guard right there. Flip Amaranth says, "What's happening to this chat? I don't know. I mention it, and then you guys just go off on a tangent, just rambling about stuff that really is, two girls in a cup sort of thing, tub girl. Uh, I'm happening to it. That's what Bullet says, and the hilarity has ensued. Oh boy. Pablo Romero says Monk took a vow of silence. He did so, and I'm just like I ask him to because he never shuts up. Um, Flip Amaranth says, "Stop encouraging Phil and his scat fetish, Bullet. Ugh, guys, stop. I need to stop reading those. You're skeeving me out. Something fierce." Phil Cadet says, "It's cool, bro. I don't know what a wife. I don't know what a waifu poet." And then Bullet says, "Freedom." And he also says, "Waifu means you are free." Uh, uh, yeah. I'll get a freedom body pillow," says Phil Connect. And Bullet says, "To poop and love how you love." Well, okay. Phil Connect.
Yeah, they really sneaking those in there.
Yeah, I already do both, son. Oh, stay free. Will do. Fort Hood. That's what Bruce Patnod says. Fort Hood. This is true. I agree. Matthew Silva says, "Kick Bullet, kick Phil Connect." Yeah, that all this certain type of talk, leaving bad taste in my mouth.
In your mouth.
Phil is back on the panel. Oh boy, here we go.
Boo.
Bruce Patton said, "That is where I was stationed while I served." No, that's awesome, man. Did you get pictures with that?
Are you
Statue?
sweating me?
Am I sweating you?
Tech, are we beefing, dude? Are you sweating me?
Maybe.
No, not really, but if you want to
Hey,
wish,
Tank
you
Furt
want to
says
think I
the
go for
great
it.
place.
if you want me to start drawing elf girls of Mars, I will. I will tear this up.
Go for it.
I will draw elf girls of Mars right now.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, see, I can't sweat you. That's a perfect ass.
Tank Ferret said he was at Fort Hood too, as well. And then Phil Connect says, "Kick me." Yeah, we put a thing on your back. It's gonna happen.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Flit Amaranth says he was a thinking emoji. Is Phil a masochist too? Do you like whips and chains and all those things? How long before Jimmy just gives up on reading the chat?
Not long enough.
Yeah, that's true. Nice tank. Salute. I guess they're commiserating about the fact that they both served at Mount Hood, at Fort Hood. Mount Hood is another place. Actually, it's a really cool mountain. Mountain Hood is where they shot the first Shining movie. Just letting you know. Bullet says, "Taste the flavor." Oh boy.
It's the rainbow.
Tank Ferret says, 1/8 Cavill Mustangs and you, Bruce. So that was his group. Nice, very nice. Let's look see how many people have liked our little thing going on here. Oh, we got 14 in the chat and we got 13 likes. Very nice. No dislikes. You guys are awesome. I appreciate that. Anybody who wants to, I have 260 subscribers. Fantastic.
Nice.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
I'm moving
beautiful.
up a little bit. I was like
Moving on up.
I was like 243 last week, so thank you. Very nice. I'm very happy about that. One of these days,
I think I got
maybe I'll get to 1,000 in like 10 years, decade. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I know you have to be very, from what I've understood, you have to be very dedicated. So you have to be like streaming like every freaking day, and
Yeah, I need to do more streaming, but like until my mother passes on, I really can't do this every night. It really does. I mean, it's kind of a struggle even to do it now because she is confused why I have to like go away for 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I'm making those videos.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Mecha McCheese is in the chat. What's up, guys? Matthew Siebel, Oregonian here. Oh yeah, you know about Mount Hood. Personally, I think of those snow-capped mountains that are in the Cascades. It's my favorite because it's very symmetrical. It's very conical. Whereas you look at like Mount Rainier, which is a huge mountain, but it's this big hump. It's not as, in my opinion, it's not as aesthetic as Mount Hood is. So, but I mean, not to say that Mount Rainier isn't a cool looking mountain. It dominates like that whole area around there, and that like the Puget Sound. You can see it like from 100 miles. I mean, it basically goes up from about sea level, a little bit higher than sea level, to about 14,000 feet, and so it just wherever you look in the area, you can see it, and especially on a clear day. Bullet says the taint is real. It's the female orgasm. That's a myth. Okay. All right. Tank Fairy. Woohoo. Woohoo. Okay. Bruce Patton out says 141st Mechanized Infantry Tank long time ago, 1983. I'm old. Bruce Patnod is old, like me. And Tank Ferret says 41D. Yeah, they're doing these designations that are military, so I'm out of my
Get me
depth.
talking about 40K, dude.
Yeah, it's like 40K, only real.
Yeah, right.
Matthew Siebel says Mecca. Eric Hawkins, Mecca McCheese. He is everywhere. Mecca McCheese. I'm here from the future to trash talk whoever this Frazetta guy is. Oh man, whatever. And Bruce says yes. I don't know. Yes to something. It's probably something that he's talking with Tank Ferret over. Oh, going back to the panel. Panel. Hello, panel.
Hello, children.
Hello, children. We're going to Armoron. This is looking pretty nice, Armoron. She's got big old cheekbones. I'll tell you what. Those are them cheekbones right there. She turns around, she knocks people down with them cheekbones. Forget about her boobs.
I've never heard that, but joke.
Well, I'll tell you, those boobs are pontoon flotillas that they got. Their guns are stationed on top of them.
Like this,
big old
the word
guns.
he's searching for is glorious.
They are glorious. Very nice. They're very nice. And yeah, very good. Let's move on down the panel. Moon Girl. How close are you done to there, Eric?
I don't know. It's just one of those situations where I could keep noodling on it forever. So I guess I'm getting pretty close to done.
Well, whenever you feel like you're done, you're done. Moving on down to our lovely shot of estrogen on the panel. That would be Humble Marty. Look at this. Very nice. Very cute.
Thanks.
Yeah, looking good. Like Pablo said, you're continuing to improve, which is very good.
Not like the rest of us losers.
Oh, be quiet, you. You just need your ego stroked, freak.
All right, just his ego.
We just lost Illustrator Monk. Oh, he's back. He's back. Let's see if Illustrator Monk has. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Pretty. Can you speak, Illustrator Monk? No?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. Very nice. Who is this particular lady?
I guess there's a delay.
Yeah, who did you pick?
I just random.
A random girl?
Random Frazetta girl.
Okay. So just like one of those cat girls kind of things. Yeah. There's plenty to choose from with it. All right, moving down to Red Robot. Red Robot. Nice. Very good. How close are you getting to be done? This looks very like watercolory.
I'll go to you. Say we stop.
All right. Keep refining. That's all I'm saying. Then we're going down to Phil. Phil's putting in his little chibi thing in there. It looks like that girl, that Egyptian princess or queen, looks a little put out, or like she's.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I wish that I would have brought up some Susanna Hoff photo reference.
Hmm.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Well,
Damn it.
oh well. That's what
Theme
happened.
for next week: the Bengals.
Oh boy. Walk like an Egyptian. All right. Going over to Daniel Tech Corner. Vega. He's doing something to that ass cheek. Not sure what. But he's doing something. Yeah, yeah. You're working on the shading of the muscles. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm trying because I know Frazetta is like detailed with muscles and stuff, so I'm trying to be a little bit more masculine. I mean, more detailed with the muscle, but I don't think I'm. Oh, it's an improvement, I guess,
Well,
from
you're working on
audio.
it, so that's good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's knowing anatomy is one of those weird things that, like I was talking about, he was a prodigy about things, and that story about the rabbit. I mean, most people have to study the anatomy of an animal to do it properly. I mean, there's always this, I don't know how many people have seen like a bad horse, where they just haven't gotten a horse proper. And it takes a while to get so you can do horses to look like horses. They just look odd if you get them wrong. And yeah, I've known several people who are very good at human anatomy, and then you try to get like zoological anatomy, it just frustrates the shit out of them because it's something that you have to kind of study. Apparently, he was one of those people that could look at something and think about it, what he'd seen in movement, and just kind of replicate it, which is just bizarre, and just to a normal human like me. I mean, it's like I can't even understand it because I have a hard time um, doing proper anatomy for humans, let alone something that's like, I mean, I can try kind of draw a bear a little bit. It was mostly cartoonish. You can do cartoons, but like properly, how they move, if they're actually in motion, capturing
Yeah.
that. It's just,
Now, were his parents artists as well?
what was that?
Was Frank Frazetta's parents artists as well?
I don't know what his parents were. That's a good question. I don't know.
So a lot of times these like really young product artists, they
I
always have parents that are like illustrators too.